Hello everyone, thank you for having me speak here. My name is Alec Carpenter, Hinsdale South, class of 2015, recent graduate from the Mechanical Engineering Department at Purdue University in West Lafayette. Here to talk about the change in science curriculum that is going to be applied at Hinsdale Central. In my time at Hinsdale South, I got to experience the PCB sequence of science classes firsthand, and I want to say how much I think it was helpful. There are two main points I want to touch on. The first applies to all high school students, and the second is a little more focused on people who are going into STEM majors in particular. I'll try to limit reiterating some of the things that were already said by the extremely intelligent and experienced faculty members that were already up here earlier. So first and foremost, those already touched on, is just a logical sequence of these classes. In taking physics first, you learn about forces, and you learn about the interaction of matter, you learn about energy, which plays extremely into the way that you learn chemistry and the way that things interact with each other, and even furthermore, the way that chemical elements are present in biology and the way that things function and react with each other. And really, high school, the difference between coming out of it as a good student and an excellent student is the difference between memorization and understanding. We all know that there are people that were excellent and really did well in high school and go on to college and they struggle a little bit more. And I found in my experience that a lot of those are people who were very smart and very good at memorizing things and, you know, recalling how things work out, but it's the people that have a deeper understanding of actually what is going on, how things interrelate to each other, and how to apply the different mechanisms from mathematics and science to reality. And that's truly setting up people for a much brighter future, and that is done most through the PCB format of taking those classes. The second thing I wanted to say goes on to people, particularly in STEM, and the order that these classes are taken in college and the importance that is placed on them. For people who go into science and engineering, the one science class that everybody is required to take is physics. And particularly in engineering, that is the main weed-out class, which, as you go in, that shows you if you can be successful in that class, you have a good chance of being successful total throughout your career. A lot of people, so at Purdue in mechanical engineering, about 40% of the students who take freshman physics have to retake the class. They do not pass it on their first try. And being able to have the experience of taking physics freshman year and then AP physics senior year gives you such a head start on all of the other students. And it goes to show that you doing well on your AP exam, if you do poorly, it doesn't mean that you didn't take anything away from the class. I did not test out of physics at Purdue with my score on AP Physics, but I still passed with flying colors the first time taking that course because I already had a deep-rooted understanding of what went into it. And I'm already out of time, but thank you so much for letting me come up and speak to all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Our next speaker is Lana Johnson.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Lana Johnson. I'm a Darien resident and the parent of 3 future Hornets, class of 2024, 2026, 2028. I am one of several parents who have the honor tonight of reading letters from Hinsdale South graduates who participated in the PCB sequence and have since flourished in STEM studies in college and in careers. Tonight I'm reading a letter from Alex Wharton. She is a 23 graduate of Hinsdale South. She attended U of I Engineering, and she is currently a chemical engineer living in California. Alex wrote, "On my first day of high school as a freshman at Hinsdale South, I walked into my first period physics class with Mr. Bonner, who was one of the teachers who spoke tonight. I had no idea what to expect and had never really thought about the different disciplines that, until that point, had fallen under the blanket term of science. A few months into that freshman physics class, I realized something that would shape my views of learning and work ethic for the rest of my academic career. Not everything can be memorized, and conceptual understanding is key to knowledge. I initially struggled in freshman physics simply because in 14 years of schooling, I had never been challenged to understand how to apply the concepts I had learned. I had just been getting by memorizing equations and simple scientific ideas. After I realized that this tactic alone wouldn't help me actually learn physics or get a better grade in the class, I started to focus on learning the concepts in our homework instead of just getting the homework done. I also began studying more seriously for tests in every class, not just physics. By the time freshman year was over, I had a solid foundation of study habits that helped me immensely when I took sophomore chemistry. the class that eventually led to my decision to become a chemical engineer. Taking physics freshman year also gave us flexibility with choosing future science classes at Hinsdale South. Many of the honors students were able to jump right into AP biology our junior year instead of taking a different biology class first, and I was also able to take both AP chemistry and AP physics C my senior year, gaining valuable college credits. I enrolled at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, go Illini, as a chemical engineering major and had to take several additional physics classes. My physics lectures had around 400 students, and like the previous speaker said, they were considered weed-out classes for young engineers. Luckily, I had already taken 2 physics classes at Hinsdale South, and I was able to succeed these college classes thanks to that. I continued to build on my study habits that I had been challenged to learn for freshman and senior high school physics classes at South. I won multiple academic scholarships, and I graduated in 4 years with a chemical engineering degree from U of I. I went on to begin my career as a chemical engineer with a major oil and gas company. To this day, I emphasize building a foundational understanding of any and all scientific concepts from Hinsdale South. So thank you, Alex, for your comments. Thank you to everyone from Hinsdale South and Hinsdale Central who spoke tonight and who have worked on this initiative. And thank you to the Board of Education for your continued commitment to curriculum equity between our schools, which I think is critically important for our community. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next speaker, you may recognize him, Bill Carpenter.
Good evening, Bill Carpenter from Darien, Illinois. 2 children who graduated from Hinsdale South, and I'm very proud of that, and obviously you heard from Alec here earlier. Basically, I just came to say thank you to the teachers, to the department chairs, to the administration for not taking the easy way out and just staying status quo. It's easy to just get complacent and stay where you want to go and not put in all the extra time. And Dr. Bonner touched on it. I'm sure they have upwards of a couple hundred hours in their meeting on days off, and for that they should be thanked, they should be recognized. It's easy for them to say no, let's just leave it, but they're doing better for our current students, for the students that are going to come through these schools. And thank you to the board for listening, for continuing to bring the curriculum equitable between the 2 schools across our district. I won't repeat, but I will echo your comments, Mr. Camden. I think you guys are absolutely running with this the way prior boards have, the way you said that you wanted to run this district, so thank you for doing that as well. I was a little bit intimidated today, Mr. Cheval, by the CV of all of the teachers and administrators who spoke, so I don't think I'm anyone to second guess them. They're the experts, they're the professionals, and the word professional has been used a lot today. I'm quite sure they're not going to show up at any one of our offices and tell us how to do our job, because they're going to assume we're the professional in that arena. And I think that us second guessing them and the amount of hours that they've put in and effort to do better for our district and for our community, I think they should be thanked for that and not criticized or second guessed. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Janae Poulos.
Good evening. I am sharing thoughts of Amira Malik, who is a 2017 graduate of Hinsdale South and currently a junior at MIT, majoring in aerospace engineering. I found my science education at Hinsdale South to be incredibly rich and helpful in my career at MIT. My freshman year of physics complemented my math education, as well as it gave context to algebra, geometry, and trigonometry that I was learning at the time, also introducing me to physics concepts that better prepare me for AP Physics C my senior year. Chemistry followed and further strengthened algebra, geometry, and trigonometry, while also introducing a good chemistry background, preparing me for the AP Chem. The classes I took then prepared me well for AP Bio, which constantly referenced the physics and chemistry education thus far, which it could only do because everyone taking AP Bio had already taken both physics and chemistry. In my senior year, I took AP Chem and AP Physics C, M and E&M, both of which I was more than prepared for. Throughout my education, I scored high on AP tests and SAT 2s and realized that I was more than prepared for my college chemistry, physics, and bio classes that I took at MIT. In fact, I would even call them easy due to my education itself, which is quite a statement. That's my editorial, which reinforces my math and previous science skills at every new class I took. She did a shout out to many of the folks that we saw here: Bonner, Jacobson, Mr. Fetty, Schneider, Gotlin. Then Jacob Keel, as a 2013 graduate of Hinsdale South, notes that with AP classes South offers, he was able to enter engineering at the University of Illinois with 50 credit hours on the books, meaning as a second semester freshman, he already had junior status. The science courses and their progression prepared me for the rigorous world of mechanical engineering and set me up to succeed with a 3.9 plus GPA in a top 10 engineering program. I think my timer's, but I'm 3 minutes. This sequence of science curriculum itself allowed me to explore physics, chemistry, and biology and offer the opportunity to build expertise in those areas with AP classes. Getting these science courses under my belt freed time in my schedule to pursue business college and finish my degree and a minor in 4 years. Speaking about my experiences with Science Olympiad and Investment Club helped me land a paid internship after my freshman year and set me up on a strong trajectory toward my goals. After my junior year, I was able to land an internship and a full-time offer with Bain & Company, a premier strategy firm. Looking to the future, I'm excited to share that I will be starting an MBA at Northwestern Kellogg School of Business, one of the top 10 business schools globally, and returning back to Bain. So thank you to both Jacob and Amira, and I will add my own personal thank you, echoing Amira's thank you to our science department, adding Julie, and my chemistry teacher was completely gone in my mind, I'm so sorry. And
Oh my gosh,
also,
I hate to cut you off on good news, but
okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
oh, keep going. No, our next speaker is Mary Sullivan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Sullivan, parent of 2 graduates and a current sophomore at Hinsdale South. All of my children have thrived at South in the science curriculum and achieved great success in AP classes. Tonight, I have the honor of reading testimonials from 3 other Hinsdale South graduates regarding the Physics First program. First off, the DuPont sisters. Marissa DuPont, class of 2015, and U of I, class of 2019. I am in the middle of my first year of medical school, which is why I was not able to be here tonight. My sister Gabriella is also a graduate of South and U of I, and is in the process of getting her medical school degree as well. She's in her 2nd year. In high school, we were avid lovers of the science program, and if one of the DuPont sisters wasn't swimming in the pool, they were in the science hallway. We were members of the Science Olympiad all 4 years of high school and benefited greatly from all of our AP credits, both of us entering college with around 60 credits each. My credits allowed me to graduate with a double major in psychology and chemistry in the honors program, while still finding time to take some alternative classes. Her credits allowed her to graduate from one of the most competitive engineering programs in the country. This is Gabriella, all by taking pre-medicine coursework. Gabriella and I both felt as well prepared as students can going into college, and still laugh about some of the things we learned in AP biology showing back up in our medical school coursework. Next student is Alexis Ardovich, class of 2015. After I graduated from Hinsdale South, I continued my education as a student in St. Louis University's Direct Admit Physical Therapy program. As a student of this rigorous program, I have come to realize the vital role Hinsdale South has had in my strong foundational science knowledge. In high school, I took geophysics, AP Bio, Anatomy and Physiology, and both honors and AP Chemistry. Thank you, Mr. Fetty. The teachers at South challenged me to acquire robust science knowledge, and I therefore found PT school to be a lot less challenging. Over the years, several of my PT classmates have dropped out of the program due to the demanding nature of our science curriculum. I credit Hinsdale South for providing me with knowledge, ambition, and passion that I have today. Ultimately, those qualities have allowed me to pursue a career that I love, and a career where I can help others in their time of need. I will always be thankful for the impact that Hinsdale South, especially the science department, has had and continues to have on my education, career, and life. And once again, I'd like to thank all of you board members, administrators, teachers, staff, and the community members who have played a part in developing curriculum equity in our community and forging ahead with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mark. Mark, you gotta help pin out. I was like, is it a D, a P? Thank you.
Good evening, thank you. I'm the father of a freshman at Hinsdale South who's in Mr. Bonner's class, AP Physics.
Sorry, pull the mic up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
And just want to say that I'm thankful for the passion and the energy that everybody shows, not only for as teachers, but the administration. We feel very fortunate that we're able to send my son to such a great school. The letter that I have to read tonight is from an incredible lady who graduated from Hinsdale South, who's now attending Yale University studying molecular biology, something of which I know absolutely nothing about. Good evening, students, faculty, and the board. My name is Uganda Nwadu, and I graduated from Hinsdale South High School last year in the class of 2019. As you can see, I'm unable to attend tonight's board meeting, but I do hope my words can offer valid input to the discussion surrounding the sequencing of science courses. I have a lot of faith in South Science Sequence because I have experienced it. I took honors physics as a freshman, followed by chemistry, biology, and eventually AP Physics C. Even though Hinsdale South offered AP Physics 1 during my freshman year, only a handful of students took it, and I was not one of them. What this means is that with AP Physics 1, I moved from freshman physics to AP Physics C my senior year. A concerning effort in the eyes of many who opposed matching Central Science Sequence with South's. Was it difficult? Sure. It's always difficult to start a class reviewing concepts you hadn't thought about for years. But in no way did I ever feel that I suffered a gap in my knowledge due to not taking Physics 1. I was still very successful in mathematics and E&M, and I consequently passed the AP Physics or AP exams with a score of 4 in both. But beyond preparing me for AP Physics C, starting with the freshman physics shaped the way in which I engaged in science. I learned early on how to think critically, build on my sense of inquiry, and apply mathematical reasoning skills, which greatly influenced my understanding of every other class I took in high school. I was able to flourish in AP Chemistry, AP Biology, and even BC Calculus because of the fundamentals that physics taught me my freshman year. And those fundamentals continue to aid me in my college career at Yale University. I got into a place like Yale because of the way science is structured in high school, emphasizing math and logic over memorization and recall. This isn't to say biology is an inferior science. I, as a molecular biology major, say I can't exactly think about my favorite science. However, much of learning biology is memorization and recall, of which those skills are useful, but they don't provide the fundamental building blocks students need to succeed in science. Freshman physics taught me early on to think like a scientist, and that foundation alone is what got me this far in the first place. The same applies to many of my fellow Hornets who have attended Stanford, MIT, Northwestern, Berkeley, and many other elite schools. We were students with different backgrounds, different study habits, and different career aspirations, which means at the very least, only science sequence is the common denominator to all of our success. The truth is that science is interdisciplinary. The different fields build on each other, and in order to appreciate the complexities of nature, you need to start with the basics. I understand it's scary to have a system you've grown familiar with change right before your eyes. However, truly appreciate and engage with science, students need to start at the fundamentals, and I believe the best way to do that is through the physics first sequence. Thank you.
Thank you. My clock is at 23 seconds and holding, so I'm going to need a little help here. I apologize.
Good evening. My name is Dave Fetty. I'm a District 86 resident and a recently retired District 86 science teacher and a former physics first skeptic until I had my eyes opened by experiencing physics first directly in the teaching of science and the impact that that sequence had on the learning and achievement of the students in their science education. It's been discussed already tonight that learning is effectual if you can attach new learning to something you have pre-existing knowledge about, because the brain needs something to hook new stuff onto. The more hooks you have, the longer term that retention is, the better your understanding, better learning. So by doing physics first and doing chemistry after that, things in chemistry such as how bonds form, why they form, shapes of molecules, whether molecules are polar or nonpolar, how they interact, you can teach that using physics as a springboard and connect the things to physics. So the learning is more effectual, it takes place quicker, and the understanding rather than memorizing leads to long-term retention or longer-term retention. Similarly with biology, when you teach biology after chemistry, you can now get into why muscles flex based on the chemistry going on, or why a neuron fires in the brain, or why a helix has that wonderful shape that it has because of all the intermolecular attractions that are taking place to make that occur. So by teaching biology using chemistry as a predecessor, you can get deeper into the biology and teach for understanding, and again, that leads to better, longer-term retention of that subject matter. And then earlier tonight, to me it's a stroke of brilliance and genius to take earth science standards that are required by NGSS and infuse them into the physics and chemistry curriculum and teach them where they're relevant to the physics and chemistry concepts. Because again, the more connections you can create, the more effectual the learning is. Now the results of this, what we saw is that we had students with an increased satisfaction in their science experience, so that led them to take more science classes. The number of students enrolling in AP science classes expanded, and research shows that students that even attempt an AP class have better success in college than students that do not attempt these classes. So it's like a win-win-win for the district. We have better learning, more effectual learning, better long-term retention, an increase in interest in science, so therefore an increase in the desire to take more science classes, those classes being rigorous classes of an AP curriculum, which then prepares students for more success in their next step in life, which is really what we're all about, is getting them ready for their next step, which would be going to college. And so it's just everything we could want in a district that expects and demands excellence in their educational programs. So to folks that are skeptics in the community or in this room, I was one at one time, I say, be patient. Support and embrace this change. It's a wonderful way to teach science. It's very effective, and it'll be the best for our community and our students. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Elena Galinsky. I'm a D86 resident and a mother of 3 children, a freshman at Hinsdale South, a 7th grader, and a 4th grader. I grew up in the local area, attended Lyons Township, and took both AP Biology and AP Physics C. I graduated from Princeton University with a degree in chemical engineering and a certificate in environmental studies. And my career has spanned a range of STEM fields from physics to chemistry, material science, and biology. I have a solid appreciation for science and its importance, not only for those in STEM careers, but for all our citizens and future citizens who need to understand science, evidence, and scientific inquiry, and understanding the world around us and making good decisions about it. When I went to college, in broad strokes, physics was about theory and experiments, chemistry was about formulas, experiments with some theory, and biology was focused mainly on memorization of bulk amounts of data without much organization to it. With the dawn of the information age and insights drawn from mining big data, biology is a frontier for experimental science and using math, statistics, and computing. As my kids were going to middle school, I learned about the next generation science standards, NGSS, to help change how science was taught, from emphasizing memorization of laws and formulas to stronger focus on experimental method and the scientific process to better prepare children to understand and contribute to science in college, employment, and adult life. This focus, along with inclusion of important content about our planet, highlighted as the 4th content area in the NGSS, is a key feature of the new science curriculum. Curriculum review, renewal, alignment, and use of best practices are part of the basic mission of the elementary and middle school district. They should certainly be part of the mission of D86 as well. The high school district should be leading here, not lagging. I feel that those who don't want any change are fundamentally misunderstanding how our district should function. To properly serve our students, we must continuously improve our curriculum. The new science sequence looks to maximize the exposure to science and the scientific method for our students, while providing a breadth of opportunity for ranges of capabilities and levels. I strongly support the proposed changes to the science curriculum and urge the board to stay the course in providing these opportunities equitably to all students in the district. Thank you, board members and all the audience and everybody who's watching out there in the community.
Our next speaker is Caitlin Herka.
Hello. My name is Caitlin Herk, and I'm a senior at Hinsdale South, and I want to take this opportunity to share my experience with the science program over my 4 years and how it shaped me into the person that I am today. So for some quick background about me, I'm a four-year varsity athlete on the volleyball and badminton team, and I'm president of my class. And next year I'll be attending Northwestern, and I plan to go into medicine, and hopefully be an orthopedic surgeon if everything works out. So during my freshman year, I took honors physics, and I absolutely loved it. It was an engaging and hands-on class filled with daily experiments and activities, and learning through experimentation made physics less abstract and more relatable to me and my classmates as freshmen. And even though physics is a fundamentally math-intensive subject, the activities we did helped my classmates and me to understand conceptually what we were using equations and numbers to represent. Instead of taking bio first, which I think can be disengaging for many freshmen, taking physics first allows freshmen to do the hands-on activities and apply what they learn in class to the real world around them. I took the AP Physics 1 exam at the end of my freshman year, but more with the purpose of exposure to standardized testing than earning college credit. Nevertheless, honors physics prepared me extremely well and taught me almost all the topics on the AP exam. So with the help of a Princeton review book, I got a 4 on that test. And since then, I've taken 7 more AP tests, including Chem, Bio, and Calc BC, and I've gotten 5s on all of them. I know there's also some concern among students and parents regarding the elimination of AP Physics 1 and missing out on potential college credit. But with the Physics First curriculum, it is very possible for a freshman to take the exam and be successful while also establishing a very strong foundation in science and math. I know there's some concern about a supposed gap that would result from not having taken AP Physics 1 before APC, but taking APC this year, I have never felt like there was a gap, because almost all of what we learned first semester in mechanics was covered at some point freshman year. My APC class is a very diverse group of students with varying interests and academic backgrounds, but we all came into APC feeling confident in our abilities. The fact that honors physics prepared us so well for APC can attest to the rigor of freshman physics. Honors physics was by no means a diluted class, so I'm confident that physics in the universe will not be either. Taking honors physics my freshman year means I didn't take an introductory bio course, but taking AP Bio my junior year, I never felt unprepared or disadvantaged for not having taken an introductory course. I was able to understand the content extremely well, and I got a 5 on that exam. And many of my classmates also had a similar experience being very successful in that class. So the science program at South is absolutely amazing, and it's brought me a great deal of success, not only in terms of earning AP credit, but in fostering my passion for science. When I graduate from South, I will have taken a total of 7 science courses, all of which I truly enjoyed. The science sequence and all the teachers at South who have worked so hard to make it the best that it can be is one of my absolute favorite things about South. And I'm excited for all the future students of District 86 who have the opportunity to experience it too.
Our next speaker is Anastasia Galinsky.
My name is Jalise Rahman. I'm a director of a PhD program of cell biology and regenerative medicine at the University of Illinois, Chicago, and I'm also a cardiologist, and I lead a research group of about 15 scientists. We study cancer biology, we develop computational algorithms, Alzheimer's disease, and stem cells, and I thought it might be good to have a university professor's perspective on how to have a proper sequence of science education. And the speakers before me have already really nicely explained that it makes a lot of rational sense to teach physics first, chemistry second, then biology, because that's just the nature of the matter you're teaching, the content. You start from forces and simple atoms, you build on it by developing knowledge on molecules, which is chemistry, and then molecules put together develop cells and biology. But I think one thing that the other speakers haven't mentioned is the nature of how we teach. So even when I teach biology PhD students, I still go back to physics principles, because the way physics evolved was it was a very simple hypothesis-driven science, even back to the 17th, 18th century. And you can teach science better if you start with simple quantitative principles. So if you're just trying to cram facts of biology into a curriculum, it probably makes no difference what you start with first. But if you want to teach students proper quantitative reasoning, it's better to start with a science that is built on quantitation, such as physics and chemistry. So then you have a foundation for how do you even approach science. How do you test hypotheses? How do you make measurements? How do you empirically test a hypothesis in a lab, which is much easier to do in physics and in chemistry than it is in biology. And if you do it the right way, your understanding of biology is much, much deeper. So I think the sequence, it's not a trivial thing. It's not just about how many facts you convey or how much memorization you do. It's about the manner of teaching. And physics is really the queen of science. This is how we see it, and this is how, even as biology professors, we keep on coming back to it. That's how we illustrate how students should develop critical thinking and hypothesis testing, even at the university and postgraduate level. So, thanks.
And is there one more, Habib?
Yeah, those were my parents. They like to embarrass me in public. So I'm Habib Rahman. I'm currently a senior at Hinsdale South High School. In terms of science curriculum, I started in Physics 1 honors. However, I also took the AP Physics 1 test through studying on my own. After that, I did chemistry honors, then AP Bio, and then currently in my senior year, I'm taking AP Physics C and AP Chemistry. And my future major plan is to be a bioengineer at the University of Illinois. And so I just like to speak about the specific, for someone who is deeply invested in a future in biology, I just like to say that I think the PCB program, rather than hurting people who want to go into life science, it actually fosters their growth. Because I think that for a lot of students, biology can be this daunting topic. It's a lot of memorization. It's very brutal for some students. It's very complex. So when you give freshmen the option to take biology, I feel like many will simply take a regular biology course and then won't really continue that education in science in general. However, I know many students through the PCB program were able to take geophysics their freshman year as a regular course. From that, move up to chemistry honors, and finally from that, move up to an AP biology course. So for students who really are focused in a career in life science, but maybe struggle a little bit on science, I think that PCB will really help them and actually ease them into a future career in life science. And just this notion that biology teachers weren't present during this planning, I know is completely false, because one of the people who I assume was running the committee was Dr. Julie Galbax. She is a biology teacher. I know this because she was my biology teacher. So obviously there was a great deal of biology in mind when this curriculum was being planned. And finally, I'd just like to talk, some people are questioning the fact that this new course would be called Physics in the Universe. And from what I can basically tell, the names of courses are irrelevant. They just sound pretty. But basically this idea of combining earth science into physics class appeals to me much more than our current physics class, which I feel was centered around the AP Physics 1 AP class. And I took the AP test, I got a 5 on the AP test, and I can safely say there's a lot of stuff in there which I feel like doesn't really pop up until much later, like harmonic waves, a lot of the stuff that simply isn't covered in AP Physics C. So instead of trying to focus really nitty-gritty on the specifics of certain physical topics, for a lot of people simply isn't advantageous. And when you have this alternative of all of a sudden we can look at earth sciences, we can look at climate change, tectonic plates, things that might actually affect people's lives, I feel like that kind of course, regardless of the name, is much more valuable than a course that applies to a, not irrelevant, but slightly less useful.
Thank you so much. Wow, that was...
Mr. Rahman, because I expect at some point in my future I'll be identifying you as Dr. Rahman. I'm also a parent, and if memory serves, you were a national... Stand up. You were a national merit semifinalist, correct?
Yes.
Congratulations. And if memory serves, Ms. Herka, who as near as I can tell has accrued about